Okay, I have right now in front of me everything I need to go outside and do an Argentinian style cookout, or down there they would say a parrilla. And I have some of the main cuts you see in Argentina here. First, hanger steak, or entraña gruesa. Then I have kind of the main, most glorious Argentinian cut, which is just part of the diaphragm, and it's called entraña fina. And it's sort of like, like the fine entraña, and this is sort of the not so fine entraña because they're both part of the diaphragm. Then we have beef tenderloin or lomo. Then we have rib cuts. A lot different than U.S. ribs, because when you see slabs of ribs in the U.S., they kind of look like this, stacked up, not cut, but they cut them into these little steak shapes. Then I've taken all this meat, sprinkled some salt on all of it, a little more than you'd think you'd want to have on there is kind of like the magical amount. Let the meat come up to room temperature. And then I'm going to take all these parts, which still look a lot like something you'd yank out of a dead cow. I'm going to go put them on the charcoal, and I'm going to go check on that charcoal right now and see if we're ready to go. All right, the key to Argentinian parrilla is having your main cooking area where you can access the coals and just how much coals you have down there. And then you have your little coal stash here, where when you need more heat, you can put it where you want it. And I can keep adding charcoal here and getting it ready to go, so I can always just pile in more, because I might be cooking for up to an hour here, so I want to be all set with a great heat source that's at my disposal. Okay, I'm going to start mounting my meat on. Little sizzly action there. Load up the asado, or the ribs. I'll do my big old loin over here, and I can put a little more heat on that when I need to. Entraña, which has to cook a long time. And then some hanger. Like the guy who does the grilling down there is the asador. And the different asadors I talk to were always telling me they're not looking to like put the meat in the flame and have it sear in the flame. They want it to be a slow cook, and one guy even, to give it like a charred thing, waits till the meat's all cooked, then drops it down to the charcoal and gives it a char. Another thing that I'm not set up for here, but it's like the sin of one of the many sins of parrillas that you'd allow fat to drip down on the charcoal, and so they use a grill that's actually pitched and made out of angle iron to drain away fat. I don't have that kind of setup here, and I think that most people probably don't have that type of grill. So everything I'm doing here is like kind of stuff you could just do at home if you got some red bricks laying around. This is landscaping stone that I pried up out of my yard. So the fat thing, I have a little bit of that going on back here, but I'm just gonna have to live with it for now. Like, definitely one of the most pleasing things about Argentinian parrilla, like the grilled meats, is just how simple it is. I mean, I had some salt and I had some meat. The meat's not trimmed. It's kind of like been just removed from the animal essentially. Applied on salt. I'm cooking over. I mean, I'm using briquettes, but it's a hardwood briquette with a vegetable oil binder on it, no petroleum. And I'm not going to sauce these things. I'm not putting a rub on these things. It's just this like really pure, unadulterated steak beef, And it's like, that's kind of one of the beauties of it. It's just like how simple it is. It's almost like something you'd make if you were out in the woods and all you have was a fire in an animal. It'd be like, this is essentially the ideal of what you'd be producing. Turned out the ribs are definitely looking ready to rock. Them bad boys are done, I think. Oh yeah. I noticed that the ribs, when they're like kind of getting perfect, they get the color of like coffee creamer. That's kind of the doneness you see more on meat, which isn't really that in tune with the American palate, or like, the real steak lover's palate. But I think that as we get into this guy, we're going to wind up more and more rare. So you kind of do one of these tapered, like these tenderloins that have the taper on them. It's nice because you kind of cook one piece and then get all of that different, get all those different degrees of doneness. It's excellent. I mean, it's like probably the best thing I've ever made in my entire life.